Daily Mad News. Mad News. Daily Mad News. Mad News. Daily Mad News. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Daily Mad News with your host, F4 Pizzo, coming to you live and direct from the Mad News headquarters right here in London. So, what is the Mad News for today? Daily Mad News. According to the BBC, the Reform MP Burqa ban call was done, says party chairman.
I know words, I have the best words, but there's no better word than stupid.
So let's have a look at what she actually says that is done.
Given the Prime Minister's desire to strengthen strategic alignment with our European neighbours, will he, in the interests of public safety, follow the lead of France, Denmark, Belgium and others and ban the burqa?
Yeah.
Prime Minister.
Can I welcome her to her place? I'm not going to follow her down that line.
I know words, I have the best words, but there's no better word than stupid.
So, this was actually the Reform MP, the Reform UK MP, Sarah Pochin, which called on the MP to ban the burqa. Okay, she's not the only one talking about this. Let's look at what the GB News is saying about it. Daily Mad News.
It's time to ban the burqa, niqab and all face coverings in public in the United Kingdom once and for all. Frankly, it's surprising enough to me that religious face coverings for women were allowed to thrive in the UK for so long. It is, in my opinion, a religious tool of female oppression. And I think it's totally alien to our culture and in direct conflict with British values and our identity. Some women wearing these garments will claim it is their choice. But I agree with Dr. Samaya Tahidi, who this year in a 2025 Telegraph piece described feeling brainwashed into wearing head coverings from childhood, only finding freedom after shedding them. This is my opinion, of course, and suggests not every choice, and I think not every choice is free. Cultural or religious pressure can loom large on people. But it's not just religious garments I want banned, I want all face coverings banned. Many of you at home live in cities. You'll see familiar sights of yous running around with either medical masks on or balaclavas. Not because it's some fashion trend, but they want to just get away with petty crimes, I think. And not just that too, it's also an act of intimidation, isn't it? What other reasons are there? Then you have the thugs that show up to peaceful protests covering their face. Nobody wants these people there. If you can't put your face to your words and your actions, then you shouldn't be allowed to protest in the first place.
Daily Mad News. A lot of people might be covering their face because of the biometrics. They don't want the police to take their biometrics. A lot of people might be covering their face because they have a new strain of COVID. A lot of people might cover their face for a lot of reasons, for religious reasons. It might not just be because of religious reasons. There might be other reasons why a lot of people are covering their face. But let's just keep going. Daily Mad News.
The burqa and face coverings aren't just a piece of cloth. It's a barrier to integration and assimilation. And he's not alone. Reform's Chief Whip Lee Anderson agrees, saying no one should be allowed to hide their identity in public. And frankly, I know many of you at home will agree with me and them that we should just ban these things and move on like every other good democracy across Europe has done. Let's go to our panel on this, shall we? Businessman and political activist Adam Brooks, welcome back. Political commentator and social media star Chloe Dobbs, and broadcaster and commentator Andy Williams. Well, Andy, I'll start with you, because this is a debate now becomes sort of part of the right-wing debate, I think, about Britain's future and our cultural identity.
Yep.
Started by Sarah Pochin. I think restarted perhaps by Sarah Pochin's comments back in June. There was a bit of disagreement in parts of Reform. They've now landed seemingly on the same hymn sheet on this one. But it is alien to Britain to have face coverings, isn't it?
I think Z. Youssef was right the first time when he said this was dumb. This is a dumb debate. This is ridiculous, OK? Like, Reform and the right, the Reform Party is, as I understand it, unless I've misunderstood it, a libertarian party. And they want to They want to ban, they want to stop people wearing certain things in public. I find that really, really odd.
But isn't it not protecting the freedoms of women? You know,
well,
freedom of women.
Well,
because
it may well be, but let's be absolutely clear. That is not why Reform don't like the burqa. Reform don't dislike the burqa because they're protecting the rights of women. That, let's be really clear about that.
Why do you think they are?
Because they don't like Islam.
But
Do Yusuf is a Muslim? You're saying he doesn't like Islam for saying we should ban
the Reform Party.
That is so funny.
I know words, I have the best words, but there's no better word than stupid.
Why I think that's funny is you have to understand that this country sent a lot of people, apparently sent a lot of people to Afghanistan to fight the Taliban because they're oppressing women. And now they are the same people now on the flip side saying, we know we're going to ban this. We know by banning the niqab and the hijab wearing in public is going to oppress women. But we're going to go ahead with it anyway. Because why? It's going to oppress Islam. They just keep going on.
Let's be absolutely clear about this. They are not the pro-women party. They are absolutely an anti-Islam party. And they've been very, very, very straightforward about that in every single thing they've said.
Let me tell you why you sound so ridiculous on this, right?
Please do.
Dear Yusuf, for one, is a Muslim.
That doesn't mean... OK,
right.
Secondly, that's not a
Let me just tell you, Andy.
Hang on, let Adam speak.
There are numerous countries around the world that are Muslim countries that ban face coverings, OK? This isn't an anti-Islam rhetoric at all. At the end of the day, for me, there's two things. There's social cohesion about being able to see people's faces.
Yes.
And then there's security issues. I work, I serve the public. I wouldn't want people coming into my pub if I could not see their face. One, there would be an age problem. I need to...
Point number one, a Muslim woman will not come into your pub. Let's just be honest with that. And point number two, the probability of someone coming to into your shop is very minute, unless it's the man them coming to collect. I mean,
to make sure they're of age.
Fair enough.
And two, there would be, security problems as well. You just don't know who's coming in. Now, social cohesion. If you walk down somewhere like Whitechapel in London, one, you might not hear English being spoke the whole way down the high road.
What's the problem?
Right. Two, we're in England. That's the problem.
Let's dig into that. What's the problem with that?
And two, you will not see many faces on the women thing, and it's just not human to cover your face. Now, I say this, if Jewish people covered their faces, if Catholics covered their faces,
totally
I would still have a problem.
I know words, I have the best words, but there's no better word than stupid.
what is going on? Why can't you just let people be? On a more serious note, on a very, very more serious note, I'm going to come back to this, but on a very, very more serious note, there is actually people that's abusing this. There's actually people that's abusing it, that's actually makes the concern very, very valid. And I'm going to give you an example of it. Okay. This guy right here. Let's have a look at what he does.
A tense confrontation unfolded in Whitechapel when several local men grew suspicious of a person dressed in a burqa, questioning the individual's gender based on their physical characteristics and mannerisms.
Kasongo, yeah. Nambari nanga.
OMG.
word than stupid.
Now, leave my man alone. My man is covering his boldness. I mean...
I know words, I have the best words, but there's no better word than stupid.
Let's have a look at the review. Let's have a look at the review. Yeah? Let's just play.
The situation escalated as the group encircled the robed figure, with multiple bystanders capturing the incident on their phones. One man proceeded to forcibly lift the face covering, exposing that the person underneath was indeed male. The circumstances surrounding why the man was wearing the traditional Islamic garment remain unclear, though the public removal of the veil sparked immediate debate about both community vigilance and cultural sensitivity in the diverse London neighbourhood. Authorities have not confirmed whether any formal complaints were filed regarding the altercation.
What complaint are they going to file over this? Cross-dressing?
I know words, I have the best words, but there's no better word than stupid.
Come on, guys, man. It might just be an LGBT one. I mean, what's going on, man? I mean, it might just be an LGBT Muslim.
Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
Daily Man News. What is going on? Now you see the reason why people are supporting this ban on face covering. And according to the poll that they did, 66% of adults in the UK are supporting this, yeah? Where 43% of young people under 25 are supporting this. So they're supporting the ban. I mean, let's have a look at it again. Let's have a
Kasongo, yeah. Mumbali nanga.
I know words, I have the best words, but there's no better word than stupid.
My man is just covering his boldness. He's covering his patch on his head. He doesn't want to be called a baldy. That's the reason why he's wearing the niqab.
Technology.
Daily Man News. Now you see the reason why a lot of people got concerned over this, because this is not actually a funny situation. Because look at this guy. Look at him like that. He looks like a normal. If you see that person walk past you, I mean, you won't say, can you lift that up? You won't say that. It's only people from the same community that has the audacity to tell this person to lift her up. Imagine if any normal Jack J tell that person to lift her up, that would cause a big concern. But now you see how this is being used by people to conceal their identity among normal people. And now the government is saying we have to ban the burqa. I mean...
I know words, I have the best words, but there's no better word than stupid.
Let's go back to that conversation from the GB News.
Because I don't want the only woman on the panel not to have heard her voice heard yet. So let's bring Chloe in and I'll let you respond. All right, how about that? Go on.
Look, I don't think that it is going against their, say, libertarian grain to do so. I think it's a difficult one where you've got conflicting freedoms. As Alex says, it's a concern for women's freedoms. And I will disagree with you when you say that Reform is not a pro-women party. I was absolutely astonished at the Reform Party conference.
I did not say that.
Sorry, tell me exactly what you said again.
I said it's an anti-Islam party.
Yeah, but you also said you mentioned women as well when we spoke about women's freedoms.
I said it's an anti-Islam party, and I think it is.
Well, so if we go, because I think that's absolutely bonkers.
I'm pretty sure.
I'll tell you why.
I'm pretty sure you said they're not
because if we're talking about banning the
burqa,
right? We're talking about banning the burqa and face covering. So that's what I want. I'm picking up on the burqa because I think it's exceptional to other face coverings, and and I believe it's a religious tool of oppression. I really, really do. By men who don't want other men to see their women. I think that's very oppressive.
You're picking up on it because it's a Muslim.
I'm picking up on it because, well, yes, Islam is alien to the United Kingdom up until 60 years ago. Yes, I believe that is the case. But also in this country, we value, as Adam's very well said, seeing someone's face, and that's why I'm saying even the youths that run around our streets, plaguing our shopping centres with these medical masks and these balaclavas, it's intimidating. It's a horrible thing. But Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, Denmark, France, Germany, Italy, Latvia, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Norway, Spain, Switzerland. They're not racist countries, are they?
Tunisia,
even African
Sri
countries.
Lanka.
I agree with all that, but people run around on line bikes in balaclavas.
I don't want them doing that.
Who are not Muslims.
We're talking about face coverings as a whole. We're talking about burqas, niqabs and face coverings because we have an issue with, for example, Antifa thugs turning up to protest.
Let's get to what you're saying.
Shoplifters.
You're honing it on burqas and niqabs.
Well, I am. Can I tell you why? Can I just tell you
because that's the most controversial
hang on. Balaclavas every day who are not Muslims. That's my point.
I know, but I mentioned, I wasn't saying that they were. But the reason why we talk about the niqab and the burqa is what other religions in the United Kingdom do you see people walking around with their faces entirely covered?
Well, many people run around in...
I think you'll find the answer's none. I think you'll find the answer's none.
Irreligious people do that as well.
But I know, we're not disagreeing on that point.
You're honing in on a particular subset of people.
Because we have to talk about that specifically, separately, as well as the face coverings of the medical masks.
What about the people who cover their faces who are not religious?
Well, I mentioned that in the monologue, Andy. Andy, I literally said, I can rewind it and read it out to you. I said also these youths and thugs running around with face masks.
It's about the burqa and the niqab.
Well, that's the headline of the topic, but as I said in the monologue multiple times, I said this is also about the guys wearing medical masks and balaclavas. It's in my speech, and you can read that.
In this country...
So are you going to ban medical masks now? Because that's one thing I don't understand. What I think is happening is this old new ban the burqa thing is because of this woman. Yeah. It's because of this woman.
I swear by Almighty Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles, his heirs and successors, according to law. So help me, Allah Ta'ala.
So that's what's causing this uproar about this, and especially with that man that got caught. I mean, they're not making situation. They're not even making it fair to fight for.
We've got about 50,000 people on the terrorist watch list, of which 90% are Islamic extremists. That's a fact. Right. Now, it's very easy for a terrorist man, to put on these full-face garments and other things and walk straight into a hospital and maybe detonate a device. It is a serious problem. Don't roll your eyes, because we've had...
I will roll my eyes.
We've had
I'll tell you why.
1 second. We've had kids blown up from Islamic extremists. They exist. There is 40,000 on the watch list. Please don't play that down. It's a problem.
We've had the IRA.
Any way we can make security better, we can.
What about the IRA?
Let's bring Chloe back in.
Not anymore.
Can I just ask, hang on, gentlemen, because I'd like to ask Chloe a specific question about being a woman, because obviously there's a lot of women who will say, actually, I want to wear the burqa, I want to wear the niqab. Should we be stopping? Is this me saying, actually, no, we should stop women from wearing face coverings? Is that what you think this might end up being about?
I think that we should stop women from covering their faces, and some of them will say, I'm wearing it because it is their own choice. But then when you say, OK, well, what will happen if you don't wear the burqa then? And then they go, oh, well, I'll be completely ostracised by my husband and my family, right? So I do think it's not completely their choice. And as you say, there is an element of brainwashing going on. And I think many women, if they were then given that freedom and were told you can't wear it and they get to show their face, that they would enjoy that freedom. And I don't think that it is stopping their religious freedom in any way, because Islam does not require you to completely cover your face. There are plenty of Muslims, they can still wear a hijab, there's no problem with that. And I think, as Adam has pointed out, it's a big security issue.
Yeah. In their own homes and in religious places, fine. Not in the public, it's a security threat.
Yeah. and I think, listen, I think this debate is going to carry on because I think now Reform have sort of talked about it quite openly now, and of course they are leading in the polls. They look like the unofficial opposition. This topic's going to keep coming up time and time again. Andy, can you do it in 5 seconds?
Yes. Sarah Potchin wanted to go on stage at Reform conference wearing a turquoise burqa in the style of Reform.
Well, who said that? Who said that?
Well, look it up. That is true.
No, that's rubbish.
No,
I've never heard anything about this. I've never heard anything. Anyway, all right, listen, we've got to go.
Daily Magnus. Let's go deep and see what Donald Trump got to say about this.
Would we be better off, as an example, in Iraq? What are we doing? What are we doing? The migration was caused by Iraq, by Libya, by this. We want to give people freedom? We're not going to have our own freedom pretty soon if we keep doing this. We're not going to have our own freedom. They don't want freedom. It's like I saw somebody, I won't even say because it's embarrassing. We want it where the women over there don't have to wear the you-know-what. And then I said, oh, well, that makes sense. That's nice. Then I saw women interviewed. They said, we want to wear them. We've worn them for 1,000 years. Why would anybody tell us not to? They want to. What the hell are we getting involved for? In fact, it's easier. You don't have to put up makeup. Look how beautiful everyone looks. Wouldn't it be easier? Wah. Right? Wouldn't that be easy? I'll tell you, if I was a woman, I don't want to. Wah. I'm ready, darling. Let's go. It's true.
Daily Magnus. There's a debate going on about this as well. Should Burqa be wearing in a workplace? Okay.
The Conservative leader, Kemi Badenoch, says that bosses should have the right to ban staff from wearing burqas. And she says that she wouldn't allow somebody into her constituency surgery on a Friday if they were wearing a face covering.
Yeah, a burqa, or, she says, a balaclava. Her comments came after the newest Reform MP, Sarah Potchin, asked the Prime Minister whether Britain would ban the burqa being worn in public.
Well, let's have a canter through this. In Muslim culture, there are different types of face covering. The hijab is the most common veil, which covers the hair, the neck and the head. The niqab is a covering for the face, which leaves the eyes exposed. And the burqa is a one-piece covering over the face and body, with the eyes...
They've got the mugshot of the models there. That's the hijab there with the egg. Daily Magnus.
The hijab is the most common veil, which covers the hair, the neck and the head. The niqab is a covering for the face, which leaves the eyes exposed. And the burqa is a one-piece covering over the face and body, with the eyes behind a mesh screen. So what do you think? Should there be a ban on burqas, complete face coverings in the workplace? Joining us now is the broadcaster and former Brexit Party MEP Alex Phillips, who says the burqa is an imported cultural symbol of women and it should not be in this country, while the broadcaster Fahima Mohammed says it's just picking on one group of people and a full ban would be against British values and law. But the thing is, other countries have banned the burqa. Other democracies have completely banned it, such as France and Belgium. There's a long list of Western democracies who, for quite some time now, won't allow women to wear the burqa in their country.
Yeah, and that is very far-right, secular sort of, parties that have actually called for it. It's actually been so counterproductive that places like France and even Denmark, you've seen women that have actually gone in protest wearing it more than they would normally, and it's actually increased even people turning towards Islam. So, again, it is against any sort of freedoms. It goes against democracy. It actually is telling people what to wear and what not to wear. It's exactly the same for me as oppression.
But aren't women being told what to wear?
In some circumstances.
Well, yes, and they may not want to wear it, but they are bullied into wearing it by their religious culture. I'm not saying all women are, but that's why so many people here in the West feel concerned about it. They feel that it is in some way a repression of women. I mean, why is it that women have to cover their face, but men don't?
Look, if that's a culture that you don't understand, fair enough.
There's a man that just covered the face and he's been taken off.
I know words. I have the best words.
Oh, God.
But there's no better word than stupid.
This is so funny. Sorry, everyone, man. Let's keep going.
Enough. And of course, if you're worried about coercion, that is something, or oppression, we've got safeguarding measures for that. We've got rules, we've got, legislation, we've got regulations for all of those things. But I feel when there are so many women that are saying that they want to choose, and actually the burqa is one of the minority within a minority that actually wear it. I hardly come across that. And if you really want to see people that are there expressing themselves, go on TikTok. They're wearing niqabs, they're wearing hijab, they're wearing burqas, they're speaking in podcasts, they have education, they are fully fully, able to integrate, speak, and be part of British culture.
Alex, isn't part of our culture and our values that we are tolerant even when we see things which we consider, in some cases, to be intolerant?
Well, I think we should be a tolerant nation, but being tolerant of intolerance doesn't make sense to me. And my concern is this. Look, I'm sitting opposite Fahima right now, and isn't she beautiful? She's got warm eyes. She's, we've been having a wonderful chat in the green room, and I can build a bond with her immediately because I get to see her face. And I think when someone goes for a full face covering, it immediately puts up a barrier between that person and the world. It goes against integration. And I worry as well because very often you find the burqa exists within communities who adhere to a far more stringent form of Islam, whose cultural mores are in absolute conflict with our own. And I'm a big believer that women should get to choose what they wear.
They are choosing, though.
But I don't think they are, because
that is a fallacy. That is you making an assumption.
The message behind it is a woman should cover her face or else be shamed. And that, to me, is such a negative principle.
No, that is not the case.
Can I just ask?
That is not the case.
Firstly, I don't know how widespread it is that women from conservative Islam here in the UK wear the full face veil. I don't know. Do you know how common it is?
I will say it is not even part of actual faith. It is people that choose that they want to from a cultural perspective. And if they feel that that's their way of expression...
So you think that even though it is part of conservative Islam to completely cover up...
Just like the Orthodox Jews.
You believe that it is a woman's choice. I mean, I'll
my body, my choice. Haven't we been fighting for that since the suffragettes?
But I'll give an example. In Afghanistan, we were all outraged when the Taliban brought back in the compulsory wearing of the burqa. That was, you would not argue that was those women's choice.
But they are being oppressed over there. But we are oppressing women over here who have got freedoms. And like I said, if they are being oppressed over here, there's a different law, there's a different legislation. We can actually help them differently. But to have a blanket ban where even the ones that are choosing to also make sure that they're not getting their rights,
Alex,
can
I ask, particularly the issue of Kemi Badenoch saying that when somebody comes into her constituency surgery wearing a full face veil, she refuses to engage with them, just as she would if someone came in a balaclava. I just wonder whether that's a kind of breach of the responsibility an MP has for their constituents.
Absolutely. MPs have been under attack. We've seen awful incidents of people, MPs being physically attacked, some murdered.
Never by anybody wearing a burqa.
The security around MPs now is so tight. You cannot have a situation where an MP is doing her duty publicly in her constituency and someone comes in who you cannot identify. That is a security risk.
I just wonder, though, because we've been talking about, of course, if a woman wants to wear a burqa, currently, it's absolutely legitimate. There is no ban. But what if a woman felt oppressed and wanted to take an issue to her MP and was told, you cannot come into this constituency office because of what you're wearing?
But I still think at the same time, you've got to... That is least likely to happen. If she's feeling that oppressed, I'd be amazed if she's allowed out without an escort.
Well, we don't know, because Kemi Badenoch said she won't
you cannot have a situation where somebody's safety is put at risk, and when people cannot be identified, particularly in the febrile world we live in today, particularly after what happened to David Amess, you cannot have a situation where an MP is...
I find that argument...
Given that so few women in this country wear the burqa, you hardly ever see the full burqa.
Which parts of London do you go to?
Is it that big a deal?
Which parts of London do you go to? Because I think there's a lot...
Mamma mia! She threw a diss right there.
I know words, I have the best words, but there's no better word than stupid.
Which part of London do you go to? There's actually people that wear that, though. I ain't gonna lie, it depends on what part of London do you actually go to. Do you go to a part where there are more Muslims, or do you go to a part where there are more Jewish people?
Honestly, I go around London, and I've been around for many, many years, all over, during work, and there is hardly people that are fully covered. And when it comes to the security issues, we do not condone anyone hurting anybody for any reason. Now, one moment you're saying that these women are oppressed, the next moment you're saying that they're a security issue. Which one is it? You are really just picking on them for a particular reason, and I just see it as being anti-Islam, and it's anti-women in Islam. And for me, that is anti-feminism and anti-British values and law, and we have...
Look at the way she's looking at her like, put me in a ring with you, man. Put me in a ring with you right now. Let's rock it out. Look at the way she's looking at her like, don't let me catch you. Come on, man.
I know words. I have the best words. But there's no better word than stupid.
She's looking at it like, just don't say something out of order. Just don't. Come on, man.
Okay, bye-bye. Laws for security to make sure that they will actually be taken off, to one side, to take off their sort of, veil, whatever they're wearing, in order to identify themselves.
Do you think there is a strong sense of feminism within Islam?
I don't think feminism in this kind of wave is something that anyone will actually sort of approve of. I certainly don't. I'm here for equality, yes. I'm here for certain things. But the way it is now, it's more about against men. I like men and women to work as teams. And I think we need each other. We can work together coherently.
All
That's
right,
a different issue.
I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you.
So, this is what the debate was about 2 months ago. Now, let's go deeper into this issue because, according to The Guardian right there, and this article is more than 2 months old, yeah. Once again, British politicians want to ban the burqa. But this time, I've never felt so afraid. And that was by Nadalene Asbali. Okay, bye-bye. She said, since the riot last summer, British Muslims have felt a deep unease in our own country. Say, here we are again debating the right of Muslim women to wear what they want. Last week, the reformed UK MP, Sarah Pochin, asked the Prime Minister Keir Starmer if he planned to follow other European countries and prohibit burqas. Now, if you go on BBC, this is one of the archive stories there. On air, should all Western countries ban the burqa? Yeah, that was in 2010. A Belgian parliamentary committee has voted on unanimously to ban Islamic face covering veils in public. If approved by the Belgian parliament, it will become the first European country to implement a ban. There is actually a couple of petitions on the UK Parliament on this issue. So the first one was raised in 2013. If you look at it there, December 2013, yeah, it was raised to ban the burqa, to join the EU countries such as Belgium, Italy, and France in banning the burqa. We know that it has to reach 100,000 for it to be discussed in the House of Parliament. So at that time, it was 13,000, but it did warrant a response. And the response was this. As the EU petition has received more than 10,000 signatures, the relevant government department have provided the following response. Since the petition was published, responsibility for this policy area has transferred from the Home Office to the Department of Culture, Media and Sports, DCMS. The government does not support a general ban on wearing of the niqab or other face coverings in public. Such a prescriptive approach will be out of keeping with our nation's long-standing record of tolerance and freedom of expression. Women should have the freedom to choose what to wear. However, there clearly will be circumstances in which covering the face will be inappropriate, and institutions such as hospitals, schools, courts, and the border force, as well as employers, should be free to set their own policy accordingly. So there's a new petition now. Yeah. The new petition came this year, and the petition was prohibiting the wearing of all face covering in public spaces. We call on the government to prohibit full face covering in public, including niqabs, burqas, balaclavas, and skin masks, to strengthen social cohesion, preserve cultural values, enhance security, and promote gender equality. We believe this will ensure fairness, safety, and a more unified Britain. So the petition was launched this year. So now, when the petition reached 10,000, as we've seen earlier, the government have to provide a response. When it reached 100,000, it has to be discussed in the House of Parliament. So right now, when it reached 10,000, the government responded on 30th of June this year. It said, it is not government policy to ban burqa or other face covering in public. So we're going to have a look at the full response. But now, the petition will be closed. The deadline for the petition will be on November the 2nd, 2025, because all petitions run for 6 months. So now, the petition is ongoing. Right now, we have 54,200 people signing this petition right now. When it gets to 100,000, the government will have a discussion on in Parliament. They're going to pay for a vote. And then we're going to know if the UK is going to have a ban on all public wearing in public. Daily News. So, what do you think of this issue? Do you support the motion that's been tabled right now as a petition to ban all full face covering in public spaces? Or do you believe that people have the right to wear what they want to wear? They have the right to cover their faces. Do you believe that wearing full faces covering, especially like the man we've seen earlier, wearing in the car, whereas he's not a woman, do you think he has the right to wear that? Maybe to cover his partners on his face? Or do you think it poses a security threat to the public? Do you think that banning, if this thing goes to 100,000 and it's been passed as a law in the House of Parliament, do you think it will be an Islamophobic ban? Or do you think it's just a measure of security and a measure of social cohesion as they've been tabled right there at the Parliament? Do you also think that putting a ban on this will further alienate? Do you think putting a ban on this will further alienate the Islamic community by isolating them more, making them far likely to integrate with the British community? Or do you think it's something they should embrace too? Because after all, we've seen how this is being misused by a member of the Muslim community. Let me know what you think. If you're not scared to put your views, opinions, and make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Because by the way, 80% of the people that watch my channel don't subscribe. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Daily Mad News. Until I see you again on the next episode of the Daily Mad News, it's your boy FOP, and I'm out. Daily Mad News. Mad News. Daily Mad News. Mad News. Daily Mad News.